Okay, hey everybody, it's Tara Green here. It is June the 1st, and I am welcoming you to the Cosmic Intelligence Agency June preview. I'm Agent 129 of the Cosmic Intelligence Agency, and I welcome you back. If you've been here before, it's a monthly offering service that I enjoy giving to you and connecting with you from here in Toronto, Canada. So I'm going to wait a few minutes until people come on. Usually takes a few minutes for people to show up. Please say hi and let me know where you're from, because Cosmic Intelligence Agency is based in Melbourne, Australia, but they have wonderful astrologers from all over the world. So come on in, say hi. I'm just going to wait for a minute. It is June already. I know we can hardly believe that, right? June already. We're almost halfway through 2026. You know, myself and a bunch of other astrologers probably warned you that once Uranus entered Gemini, things were going to go super fast, and we can feel that, right? So let me see if, let's see, I'm watching here also on the page, but I'm not seeing myself even though it says I'm live. Come on, guys. Is anybody there? Okay, come on. I'm waiting to see people. I'm going to say hi and see. Let's see. Okay, I'll just wait a few minutes. Sometimes it takes you guys a few minutes to show up. It is 5 p.m. Pacific Daylight Time, 8 p.m. Eastern Daylight Time, and it is June the 2nd at midnight in Greenwich Mean Time. And again, I have to spread it out over many different time zones here. So I'm going to wait a few minutes again until people come on. Come and say hi. I know there's Cosmic Intelligence Agency fans and people who know me that I put out my own promo to as well. Don't be shy. Come on and say hi. Let me know that you're there. So again, I'm Agent 129, Tara Green of the Cosmic Intelligence Agency. Let me know where you're from. I am going to talk about June's astrology. You can see I've got my notes here. Talk about the astrology. Let's see, talk about the astrology. I just want to know that people can see me here, because I'm not seeing that anybody's here for some reason. I don't know why. Come on. That's kind of weird. I'm wondering if my internet is working okay. Okay, 5 viewers. Okay, I'll just wait a minute. Okay, people are just going to come on a bit slowly. Come and say hi. Let me know where you are. Again, this is a monthly offering that I like to give to all of you, so I can give you the heads up about what's going to go on with the planets. And there are big, big changes coming in June. Okay, so this is really the last month that the last of the major planetary changes happens. Okay, so things are going to really start kind of clicking into place. So please say hi. Let me know where you're from. I know the Cosmic Intelligence Agency gets viewers from all over the world, and I'm up here in Toronto, Canada. So June, there in New Zealand. Hi, all the way across the world there in New Zealand. Nice to have you here. Please don't be shy. Come on and say hi. Hi, Susan, my friend Susan from out in BC. Yeah, British Columbia, Canada, beautiful BC. Okay, so I'm going to just jump in here, and people can join in as they like. So it's the big June month here, and we are going to move from the card of the Lovers, and the tarot of the Lovers represents Gemini, which I always was puzzled by when I first started studying tarot, because I had studied astrology before then, and I went, how can the Lovers be signified by Gemini? But it is about the complementary polarities of the opposites, right? So we always have to have those polarities. Okay, so we're going to move from Gemini season into Cancer. Summer solstice happens June 21st. I'm going to give you a little brief overview here. Mercury has entered Cancer already, and will stay there for a very long time. We'll spend 85 days in Cancer. So are we ready to have our minds and our emotions be one? I think that's a good thing. You know, Mercury, like all air signs, are kind of dualistic, right? They have because they represent the intuitive and the intellectual side of the brain. And there's an early Mercury retrograde alert here. Okay, Mercury will turn retrograde June 29th. So make all your travel plans ahead of time. You know, it's not a terrible thing. It's not a disaster like it's, you know, kind of pop astrology portrays it at all. It's a time to rest and renew. Venus will enter Leo, so we're getting ready to heat things up. Definitely, Venus enters Leo. It's time to party. June 13th. There's a new moon in Gemini, June 14th. Chiron enters Taurus on June the 19th, just for a little bit of a preview there, but that is a big shift. June 21st, summer solstice for us here in the Northern Hemisphere. It can't come soon enough. It's been a very long, cold, incredibly long winter here, and really not much spring. And it's winter down under in Australia, of course. Mars enters Gemini on the 28th. So the last few days of 28th of June are going to be very, very impactful. Mars enters Gemini. So again, the mind is getting very active. Again, air signs there. Mercury turns retrograde in Cancer on June 29th. On June 29th, there's also a full moon with Mercury moving retrograde. And the big news is Jupiter entering Leo, the 29th or the 30th, depending on what part of the world you're in. And that is a big deal as well, because most of the planets, except for Chiron entering Taurus, will be in fire and air. Okay, now, fire and air are considered traditionally to be masculine signs. They're outgoing, they're active. You know, the fire represents all the aggressive signs and air. So again, if you're blowing on that bonfire, it just gets higher and higher. Okay, so let's break down the more of the details here. Mercury enters Cancer today, June the 1st, and it will be there until August 25th. That's and spending again 85 days in Cancer. Mercury turns retrograde later this month, the 29th at 10:36 a.m. PDT, 1:36 p.m. EDT, 5:36 p.m. GMT at 26 degrees 14 minutes when it turns retrograde, but it stations direct July the 23rd at 16 degrees 22 Cancer. So you want to make your travel plans ahead of time, and don't be afraid to travel. Just expect, baggage to get mixed up and to be late and those plans to change. So if you're prepared, you know what's going to happen. On the 3rd, Mercury squares Neptune in Aries at 5:18 p.m. Pacific Daylight Time, 8:18 p.m. Eastern Daylight Time, June the 4th at 12:18 a.m. Greenwich Mean Time at 4 degrees. That is a very creative, dreamy day. If you want to meditate, you want to just channel, you want to do some automatic writing, that's a good thing. June the 9th is the luckiest day of 2026, so you want to really mark this one. Venus, the planet of beauty and harmony in the arts, rules women traditionally, conjuncts Jupiter, the most expansive planet, at 25 plus degrees of Cancer. So all you late Cancerians, you get that big boost too. 12:59 p.m. Pacific Daylight Time, 3:59 p.m. Eastern Daylight Time, 7:59 p.m. Greenwich Mean Time. Okay, hang on, I'm just going to adjust my screen here for a second. All right, there we go. Okay, so you want to get ready for that one. Okay, so plan to do some nice ceremony at that day because it is the most optimistic, the most positive energy, June the 9th. Okay, also on the same day, Mercury squares Saturn at 4 plus degrees Cancer, Aries, 10:39 p.m. PDT, June the 10th at 1:39 a.m. EDT, 5:39 a.m. GMT. So again, that's if you're going to write something down, if you're going to put out a long-term goal, Mercury square Saturn kind of harnesses the mind, right? You can get really focused and real serious about what you intend. So that's a good combination with Venus conjunct Jupiter because Jupiter expands and Saturn contracts. So they work really well together, okay? On the 12th, Venus squares Chiron at 29 degrees. So this is very critical. Venus will be at 29 degrees of Cancer, Chiron at 29 degrees of Aries. So for this last while with Chiron at the last degrees of Aries, you can be feeling very vulnerable, very wounded. There could be love hurts. There can be, old family issues that come up, issues with women, family, mothers, children, your home even, so watch out for planets will act very physically on your home as well. Critical day, kind of women fighting back as well, okay? Now, June the 13th, that happens at 1:24 a.m. EDT, 4:24 a.m. GMT. On the 13th, Venus enters Leo. So all you Leos, you're going to get all the love wherever you have planets in Leo, rising sign nodes in Leo. June 13th until July the 9th. So that's a party time. Everything's going to be much more passionate, love affairs, dancing, breaking out into song, being very creative, self-expressive, opening your heart. Jupiter rules the heart. It's also good for children. So play with your inner child. It's also good for fertility. If you want to get pregnant or launch any kind of new project where you want to be the leader, that's the time to do it. Okay. So 3:47 a.m. PDT, 7:47 a.m. EDT, and 11:47 a.m. GMT. June the 14th, there's a new moon at 24 degrees of Gemini in 3 minutes, 7:54 p.m. PDT, 10:54 p.m. EDT, and on the 15th at 2:54 a.m. GMT. Again, new moons, new intentions. We just got through that beautiful blue moon, which was all connected to the archangel stars, and now new moon in Gemini is really all about seeing things from both sides. It's about communication, thinking, choices, All right, so new moon. On the 15th, Venus in Leo sextiles Uranus in Gemini at 3:53 p.m. PDT, 6:53 p.m. EDT, 10:53 p.m. Greenwich Mean Time. So Venus in a positive aspect to Uranus can bring unexpected, weird texting, messaging, unusual feelings for people or being attracted to people who are very different, okay? It's also very good for expressing yourself in new ways, thinking outside the box. Leo is all about creative self-expression and willpower. Okay. So on the 16th, Venus trines Neptune. This is another beautiful aspect because Neptune is the higher aspect of Venus, her higher octave. So Venus represents human love. Neptune represents idealistic love. So spiritual love, unconditional love. That's at 8:41 p.m. EDT, 11:41 p.m. EDT, and on the 17th of June at 3:41 a.m. Greenwich Mean Time. It's dreamy, it's romantic, it's idealistic. It's kind of like wearing those rose-colored glasses. On June the 17th, Venus opposes Pluto. This is a bit of a red letter day here. 1:38 p.m. PDT, 4:38 p.m. EDT, 8:38 p.m. GMT at 5+ degrees of Leo Aquarius. That's big money, power struggles, oppositions. Again, the women against the plutocrats. All of that stuff, love struggles, power struggles, very intensely sexual in a way too. Family issues around money. Again, there's always those family issues around money. Okay, on June 19th, now this is really a big one, Chiron enters Taurus. Now this is a bit of a preview at 2:20 p.m. PDT, 5:20 p.m. EDT, 9:20 p.m. GMT. Chiron's been in Taurus since 2018. And it'll be there till September 17th. So this is just like a little preview. We get used to what it's going to feel like to have Chiron really embodied in Taurus, okay? Really sensuous, really about healing the earth, okay? Now, Chiron will retrograde back to Aries September 17th, 2026 until April 14th, 2027. So we're not quite ready to make that big leap. When Chiron's back in Aries, again, this will exemplify that fire and air energy. Chiron will remain in Taurus April 14th, 2027 until May the 5th, 2034. That is 7 years. So we're going to go through a big major cycle. 7 is also associated with the planet Saturn, of course. So our cells regenerate every 7 years. Now, June 21st, happy summer in the Northern Hemisphere, happy winter in the Southern Hemisphere. That summer solstice, or Litha, it's the pagan name, is at 1:24 p.m. PDT, 4:24 a.m. EDT, 8:24 a.m. Greenwich Mean Time. So it's always good to celebrate it right when it happens, okay? So then again, we're halfway through the year. On the 21st, also, the sun trines Chiron, 2:48 p.m. PDT, 5:48 p.m. EDT, 9:48 p.m. GMT. Again, shining your light on your wounds, about being vulnerable. That's a great healing energy. June 25th, Venus trines Saturn. Again, this is very good if you're going to get married. Saturn means long-term goals. You're going to sign a contract. You're going to launch a new business, something you're going to be serious about, okay? 5:02 a.m. PDT, 8:02 a.m. EDT, 12:02 p.m. GMT. Now, June 25th, the sun squares Neptune, 4 degrees Cancer Aries, 3:38 p.m. PDT, 6:38 p.m. EDT, 11:38 p.m. GMT. That could be kind of confusing. It's kind of light, shadows. Am I out in the daylight? Am I in the fog? But again, very creative, very spiritual. Okay, very spiritual. Bringing to light your spiritual side, the conscious and the unconscious. On the 26th, the sun quincunxes Pluto in Aquarius, or in conjuncts, at 6:19 a.m. PDT, 9:19 a.m. EDT, 1:19 p.m. GMT. A quincunx, or an inconjunct, is not the most common aspect, but it is important because what the sun, for example, is what we see consciously. The quincunx is our blind spot, what the sun can't even see. Pluto in Aquarius, way back there, the blind spot in the rearview mirror. So what we can't see kind of controls us, especially Pluto in any sign. Okay. So pay attention to your shadow work. Good day for that. On the 27th, Mars sextiles Jupiter, 9:50 a.m. PDT. On the 28th at 12:50 a.m. EDT, 4:50 a.m. GMT. Mars sextile Jupiter. This is also very positive because sextiles are supportive aspects. So Mars is going to be amping up Jupiter at the very last degrees of Cancer. Okay. On the 28th, sorry. Sorry, I just lost my voice there for a second. Some Canadians have joined us. Okay, sorry about that. On the 28th, Mars enters Gemini. So wherever Mars is where the energy is, the passion, the action, the defenses, the war, a war of words. 12:29 p.m. PDT, 3:29 p.m. EDT, 7:29 p.m. GMT until I didn't fill that in. That's okay. On June 29th, the full moon's at 8 degrees Cancer, 15 minutes. Sorry, 8 degrees Capricorn, 15 minutes. The sun, of course, is at 8 degrees of Cancer at 4:57 p.m. PDT, 7:57 p.m. EDT, 11:57 p.m. GMT. So again, all full moons are completions. It's in Capricorn. It's grounded. So it's good for us to stay grounded here. Again, with all the planets being in fire and air, we need to stay as grounded as we can. So build some long-term goals at that time. On the 29th, Mercury turns retrograde, 26 degrees, 14 Cancer, stations direct July 23rd, 16 degrees, 22 Cancer, which is very close to the US sun and very close to the beautiful star Sirius, which is at 12:13 Cancer. June 29th, Jupiter enters Leo. So for all you fire signs, Aries, Sagittarius, Leo, of course, it'll be there until July 26, 2027. It enters Leo with a big flourish, wearing gold, wearing red, showing off, big trumpets, royalty, sovereign in your heart, 10:52 p.m. PDT, June the 30th at 1:52 a.m. GMT, 5:52 a.m. GMT. Again, opening our hearts. It's big leadership time to step up, work with your third chakra, willpower, creative children, but lots of drama. Okay, it's good for all the fire signs, and it squares the fixed signs, Taurus, Scorpio, and Aquarius, of course. All right, so now I'm going to put those notes aside, and this is what most of you have been waiting for. So, not that you don't want to know the astrology, I know you do too. Okay, so I'm going to smudge everybody. Okay, this is the process of how I do it. I smudge everybody, so you get a virtual smudge because we're stepping into sacred space here. And I've got my special Herkimer diamond crystal here, which looks like a crystal skull. Okay, and don't mind my fingers. I'm in gardening mode, so if my fingers are a little bit earthy there, I'm trying to stay grounded with that. So I'm going to take the tarot cards and I'm going to shuffle them really well. And then, hang on, I'm going to move this back a little bit. I'm going to start with Aries, of course. So you know your sun sign, of course, but if you know your rising, your moon, Venus, Mars, Jupiter, Saturn, Mercury, all of the planets, you can use those to help guide you while we go through all these big changes in June. Okay, so Aries, you get the High Priestess. Okay, so the High Priestess, the number 2 card in the tarot, is up at the very top of the pillar of the Sephiro. So she always represents balance. Okay, the 2s are always about balance. Okay, duality, choices. It's like living in 2 worlds. She represents pulling back your energy, Aries, and reflecting. She is like the moon, right? But she's an interesting aspect of the moon. She's like an active aspect of the moon. The tarot is based on this very esoteric knowledge, right? So the High Priestess for Aries is about paying attention to your intuition or developing that, listening to your dreams. She is definitely the bringer of dreams. And so ask her, she is definitely a living guide. Ask her to come and help you remember your dreams if you don't remember them. To incubate a dream, I want to know an answer, and to reflect more. Okay, she doesn't move forward. She's receptive, and she gives you a lot of emotional strength as well. This is my soul path, my life path card, by the way. And so again, it's like living in 2 worlds. Okay, so she holds the veil between the worlds. So you might see some surprising or get some surprising intuitive flashes or insights during June. Okay, especially when the planets start entering Leo. So for Aries, it's a good positive thing. Okay. All right. Now I'm going to pull another card. I have this extra deck. I like to do this. It's called the Heindel Tarot. It's also based on the Kabbalah. It's quite beautiful. It's just to give us, what do Aries need? A little helper there. Okay, little helping card. Does Aries need help? I think so. Okay, so Aries, you get the Strength card. Okay, now this is very different. It's quite beautiful. It also has the I Ching and the Hebrew letters on these cards usually. Okay, so again, Strength. Strength in the decks can either be 8 or 11. It's either Leo. Strength usually applies to Leo. So again, the more you listen to your intuition, the stronger you are, Aries. Okay, it balances you. I think Saturn Aries is good because it's holding back most of that Aries impulse, right? So play to your strengths. You can conquer anything, basically. Okay, and again, your strength is to reflect right now. Okay, all right. So let's do Taurus. Okay, so Taurus is yeah, you're going to get ready to have Chiron in your sign for the next 7-8 years. It's a long time, actually. And again, for Tauruses, you're going to be squared by Jupiter in Leo, Pluto opposing you from Aquarius, all of those longer term energies. Okay, so you get the Hangman. So in the tarot, there were 22 major arcana or trumps, but I don't say trumps these days. That's my little ongoing joke there. But that's what they're originally called, and it means triumph. So there were 3 special, what they call maternal letter cards, and one is the Fool, one is this one, the Hangman, and then number 20, which is traditionally called Judgment Day. So what this card represents, Taurus, is I know you like to hold on to things. You're a fixed earthy sign. This is about knowing when to let go and not being a martyr because you're holding on too tight because you don't want things to change. I'm sorry, you have to give it up. If Uranus and Taurus hasn't taught you that, now it's like, okay, the rubber hits the road here. You have to let go. So don't be the martyr. Learn to surrender and give it up to God. I mean, that's traditionally what this is about. If you're in AA, if you're in recovery, it's about I can't control everything. It's best to just go with the flow. The Hangman, even though these 3 major cards are not associated traditionally with the outer planets, this one very definitely is associated with Neptune. It's pretty obvious, the baptism by water. So yeah, don't get yourself all muddy though, Taurus. Okay. All right. So let's give you an extra card here as well. Okay. All right. Thank you. More people have joined now. Okay. You also get the Hermit. Okay, the Hermit. So the Hermit is like Virgo energy. This is saying, Taurus, you need to take time out. You need to stay grounded. You need to be out in nature. Tauruses love nature anyway. You need to learn to listen to your own inner wise guide. That's what the Hermit is really all about. So listen to your gut instincts. Tauruses always have gut instincts. It's not all woo-woo. It can be just, what is my body telling me? The body never lies. Okay, so Taurus, don't be afraid to be alone. Okay, it's a great prerequisite to wait until you're ready, until you've done the inner deep work before you're ready for a relationship. Okay, Venus and Leo is going to open everybody's hearts this month. Okay. All right. So Gemini. Let's see what you got here. Geminis. Okay. So let's see what you got here. So for Geminis, for air signs, of course, Uranus is going to radically change you up. There's lots of Geminis, millennials who are going to start having the midlife crisis if you're about 43 years old. Okay, you get the wishing card. Okay. So this is a beautiful card, the wishing card, the 9 of Cups. Traditionally, I leave this in just for a little extra bonus. So Geminis, I get to be your fairy godmother and give you 9 wishes. So you ought to think about what you want because, the universe will always send you what you wish for. Now, having 9 wishes, this is like Jupiter in Pisces, which is, really harmonious with Jupiter in Cancer right now. So I would do this before the end of the month. Think about what you want, but this is not about manifesting Lamborghinis. It's about sending blessings to the world, not thinking about yourself, but how can I help other people? It's about charity. It would be a good time to give to charity. The more you make others happy, the happier you're going to be yourself. Okay, so Geminis, you get all these wishes. All right, so let's see what this Heindel Tarot has to say as well. Okay, let's see what that has to say. Okay. You get the Moon. Okay. So the Moon card here, the number 18, is like Pisces energy, another mutable sign. Gemini is a mutable sign. So again, this is about going through a rebirth. This is traditionally called the dark night of the soul. So if you have Gemini planets, you could be also getting ready to have your midlife crisis. You could be feeling like you're staring down a dark tunnel and I don't know, WTF is going on. This is a test of your faith, and it's also about listening to your intuition more, like deep unconscious shadow work that you haven't been paying attention to. It could all be suddenly exploding in your face, Gemini. Okay, so testing your faith, is there light at the end of the tunnel? You're going to have to find out. Okay, so Cancer. All right, so you want to fully immerse yourself in the last of Jupiter in Cancer till the end of the month, Cancerians. Okay, and you get this card here, which is called the Da'at card. This is the invisible Sephiro. Again, I do add a couple of extra cards here. I like to call this, and you've probably heard me say this before, the calling card from your holy guardian angel. It's a bridge card from the lower, what they call the lower Sephiro to the highest Trinity. And on the tree of life, that's there's three major Sephiro above that, which represents the magician, the high priestess, and the empress. Okay, so you get to bridge something that you've really wanted, I feel like, or a sense of your prayers will be answered. This is kind of a blessing. It's always about your higher self, connecting to your higher self, Cancer. And Jupiter in Cancer is exalted. So really listen to that. Really ask for it. The universe will always send you what you want. Okay. So pay attention to the signs, the symbols, the synchronicities, and you'll see the more you follow those, there's like crumbs, like in the fairy tales when you're lost in the forest, you put the crumbs down. This is like picking up the crumbs and it will lead you home. Okay. And that's what Cancers want. Cancers want to be home, always be safe emotionally. Okay. So that's a nice symbol there, Cancer. All right. So let's give you another card here just to give you some balance and perspective here. And you get the star. Okay. So the star, this is the number 17. It's like wishing on a star again, that sense of, yeah, your wishes are going to come true, Cancer. This is like the more you ask what you can do to be the star, to be the conduit, the symbol of the, however it's configured, it's usually a goddess or it was traditionally the water bearer, the slave actually, who poured the water for the Romans. But it's been interpreted so many different ways as a goddess or a god pouring water, cosmic consciousness. That's why people used to think it was a water sign, but it's air down to the earth. So you have to ask yourself, Cancer, how can I be a conduit from the stars, from higher consciousness down to earth? And you are the star of the show. Okay, so never forget. All right, so Leos. All right, Leos, I'm sure you're ready to roar back and be the center stage. And everybody who has Leo planets, yeah, you got ready, wear red, wear gold. The price of gold usually goes through the roof with Jupiter in Leo, by the way. Okay, so let's see. And you get the card of Leo. Okay, I love it when the synchronicity happens. Okay, so in the deck that I use, number 11 is the Strength card. You can see it's very clearly Leo. So again, Leo, you get to be super Leo and not apologize to anybody and just be center stage and have fun and party it up and open your heart and wear your heart on your sleeve and be super will-powered, and yes, expect lots of drama, big hair, lots of fun. You're ready to step up, really step up. You've been waiting for this for a long time. Jupiter's been occupying your 12th house if we use Leo as your rising sign. Okay, so yeah, get ready to party, open your heart. There can be lots of love. This is a card in my deck. This is called lust. So of course there can be lots of that too, Leo. So your lust for life, your passion for life inspires everybody else. And everybody's got Leo somewhere. Even if you don't have planets there, you want to look at what house Leo is in, okay, to see how Jupiter's going to light that up for the next year. Okay. And you get the sun, of course, and this is perfect because Leo is the sun king, the sun king, the sun queen. Leos are one of the only two signs that get to have the sun or the luminary, the moon for Cancer as their symbol. So again, be the star, shine, be confident, be charismatic, open your heart, bring the light to other people as well. Okay. All right. So Virgo. Let's see what Virgo's got here. Virgo, you get the Fool. Okay. So Virgos like to be very meticulous, very organized, very perfectionistic, of course, and they worry a lot. They get anxious, right? So this is about the Fool. The Fool is always about a new beginning. So for Virgo, you want to pay attention to this. Again, Uranus in Gemini is aspecting all the mutable signs, which is Virgo, Sagittarius, and Pisces. Okay, so new beginnings, Virgo. Boldly step off the cliff. That's what the symbol of the Fool is. The Fool represents the soul who's bravely going to step off the cliff back into incarnation as the golden child, as the pure child who doesn't worry about a thing. So Virgo, stop your worrying. I know it's an ingrained habit. Stop being so self-critical. Be fully in the moment. This is a real challenge. This is the Virgo challenge. Be fully in the moment. Be present. Just be in awe. Be in wonder. The gift of the Fool is the symbol of enlightenment. Okay, fully in the moment. Be here now. Okay, start everything new. Expect everything to restart. Okay, and just be open to whatever the universe brings you. Stop controlling everything. You're missing all the fun. All right. So Virgo, let's see what we got here as a helper here. Okay, so let me know what your sun, rising, moons are. And you get the Fool too. Okay, so doubly the Fool. Okay, doubly the Fool there. All right, so a fool twice over. Be a fool for love, Virgo. Don't be afraid to do something crazy. And especially if everybody thinks you're totally crazy, that's even better, okay? Because you're gonna have to break your own rules, okay? Virgos have a lot of rules about things. They're very, I only like it this way. Well, blow that up. Just throw it out the window, okay? Use Uranus's energy to break up your mind, okay? Mercury also rules Virgo. So again, when Mercury goes retrograde, pay attention because it's much more impactful for Virgos. Okay, so let's do Libra now. Okay, so again, as all the planets enter cardinal signs, Libra gets affected. Okay, and you get the Hierophant here, the number 5. So the Hierophant is the Pope or the High Priest here. It can be challenging unless you listen to your gut instincts. Again, this is where Libra, an air sign, again, affected being more airy with Uranus and Gemini here as well, and Pluto in Aquarius. So staying grounded, learning to trust your instincts, your body, your voice, your throat. You could have issues with your throat chakra that could represent having your thyroid checked. So Libra, as long as you're speaking your truth, with Saturn and Neptune and Aries, I have to say the challenge for Libra is to think for yourself. Okay, there's a Beatles song called that. But anyway, standing in your truth. This could be money coming. Taurus rules money, luxury, riches, the arts, DIY, making things with your hands, being creative, getting into the dirt as well. Okay, Libra. So you're ruled by Venus. Venus rules Taurus as well. So this is doubly, you're inferring Venus coming to be really nice to you. Okay. All right. So Libra, let's see what else you got here. Yeah, I don't know. Do you like this extra card? I kind of like to do it. Okay, so you get the Hangman. You can clearly see the symbol of Neptune's on there. So this is about surrender. Again, this could be really falling for someone. And maybe when you stand up, things really shift. Okay, there's a beautiful rainbow in this one. Kind of, the rainbow always represents your prayers being answered. So for Libra, with Venus and Leo, it can be very impactful for you, really opening up your heart, really being able to express your feelings fully. And I think this is quite a beautiful card. So let go of what you can't control. Again, this is like the AA prayer, the serenity prayer. Okay, go for serenity. Okay, so Scorpio. So again, as Jupiter enters Leo for the next year, it will be squaring 90-degree angle, hard aspect to all Scorpios. Okay, and again, Pluto's been doing that for a while. Okay, so let's see what we got here. All right, you get the Hermit here. So Scorpio, you're not afraid to be alone. You like to be alone, okay? But this is about earthing. This is about grounding. This is about being out in nature. This is about staying connected to your gut. Again, your gut instincts. Scorpios are very emotional, and sometimes they get, carried over with their emotions. Hi from Palm Springs, and so it could be something you want to write. You want to express, it's Virgo energy, it's mercurial, it's about a new idea. It could be a new idea, it could be an ending, it's number 9. This is completion for you, Scorpio. So maybe you need to complete things before Jupiter enters Leo and you're ready to kind of really come out into the world. So finish off any old issues, make sure you're paying attention to the details. It could be about money, it could be about tightening your belt, could be about budgeting here as well. Could be an older person who maybe even randomly gives you some advice about money or about work. It could be work changes as well. It could be about your health, changing your diet too. So my intuition is saying somebody might say something randomly, which could be a key for you to move on in June. All right, so Virgo, let's give you an extra card here. Okay, you get the Tower. Okay, so the Tower is like Mars energy. Again, Mars energy, aggression, anger. With the Hermit there, it could be suppressed anger, let's put it that way, or something that's really motivating you to make a change, something that finally lights the fire under your feet and says, I got to do this, I can't hold back anymore. So it could be some shocking revelation. It could be a good thing, not necessarily a bad thing, but some big shift, okay, is going to change for Scorpio. Okay, and I think that's Jupiter and Leo, right? Could be like a big bomb going off, but that could be a good thing too. All right, so Sagittarius. Now, for all you Sagittarians, Jupiter and Leo, I've been waiting for this one. It's very good for all of us fire signs. All right, and you get the Aeon here. So the number 20, if you've been listening from the beginning here, you've heard me talk about these three major Hebrew letters and cards that are very significant in the tarot. So this is one of them. The number 20. This is not the traditional tarot deck, the Rider-Waite-Smith deck that most people are familiar with, the most popular deck in the world. This is the Thoth tarot. And this is traditionally called Judgment Day. So it has to do with the Archangel Gabriel blowing his trumpet on Judgment Day, which is Revelations, the book of Revelations. And I just want to mention that the blue moon was conjunct to all of those royal stars, fixed stars, which represent the four major archangels, right? So this is Gabriel. So you could be hearing, because the Archangel Gabriel sends you messages. If you tune in, the Archangel Gabriel will be whispering or sending you messages. You have to pay attention, listen. But this is also the end of the old. I think a lot of the energy of that blue moon was about the ending of old cycles and really stepping into the new. Stop judging everything. Stop being in fear, actually. The more you trust, the more you have faith. Sagittarius is ruled by Jupiter. That's the planet of faith. The more you can go through this new beginning. I had a major, actually, lucid dream years ago that was all about this card, which is going into my book, which I'm intending to finish finally. So new beginnings, new opportunities for Sagittarius. Okay, so let's give you an extra card here. Okay. You get the Empress. The Empress, the number 3, is the symbol of the goddess, of Venus, of love, of beauty, harmony, the arts. So this is very positive. As you step into this new cycle, as you let go, Sagittarius, of the old, the Empress is there to help you. So again, she represents the intuition. She's usually shown as a pregnant woman. So the symbol is that you're already pregnant. You've already conceived this on some level, and you need to nurture a dream. You need to nurture this new beginning. You know how to do this, okay, Sag. Okay, you have the faith. So the goddess, the Empress, it can represent an important woman. It can represent for a man, a beautiful woman coming into your life, a gift. It represents motherhood, can represent fertility, creativity, new art projects, things of that nature. Okay, so Capricorn. Okay, let's see what Capricorn has here. All right, so Capricorns. Let's see what you got. Again, Saturn, Neptune, giving Capricorns a bit of a hard time there. Okay, all right. You get the Magician. Okay, so the number 1, the Magician, is the intellect, it's the mind, the consciousness. You get to be the wizard, and this is your magic tool, your magic wand, the mind, your consciousness, the power of intention that can never be stolen. So it represents new beginnings, Capricorn. So use this energy. Saturn's already quite far into Aries. It's already at 12 degrees, I believe. And so don't worry if you haven't made the start already. Sorry. You can always start again. Okay, so initiate new projects. Boldly go. Get a very creative time. With Neptune in Aries for Capricorns, I think they get to draw on a lot of creativity that they've never really used before. So this is a good thing. So new beginnings on all levels and all dimensions, let's put it that way. Okay. And it might be time to write more. Okay. All right. So Capricorn, let's see what you got here. You get the Death card, the number 13. Okay, so this is interesting. Number 1, Magician, new beginning, and then 13. So again, maybe because this is Scorpio energy, Capricorn, and Scorpio is sextile in Capricorn. And you know that Neptune is also, Neptune, Uranus, Pluto are all in this major sextile energy. Uranus is also trining Pluto as well. So this is a very unusual configuration going on here. So again, this is a good time to let go of the old. Capricorns are usually kind of very stodgy. Let go of the old, go into the new. Don't be afraid to bring the magic, and everybody has magical powers. Don't be afraid to use yours. Okay, so Aquarius. So let's see what Aquarius has here. So again, Aquarians, if you were born at the beginning of Aquarius, Pluto's already up at 5 degrees, and then Jupiter's going to enter Leo and oppose your sign. Okay, now you get the number 4 here, the Emperor. So for Aquarius, this is about holding your power. Number 4 is about power. It's also about working with the 4 elements. Aquarius is an air sign, and again with Uranus and Gemini, more air. This is fire. Again, this is Saturn literally right now in Aries, and Neptune in Aries, Aquarius. So it is sextiling. Those planets are helping you out here, holding your power. It also can represent your father or a boss. It could be standing up or an aggressive encounter. Actually, maybe you should be careful a little bit either. This is the warrior. But it's usually about launching something new and really owning your power. Okay, so Aquarius, holding your power. I mean, with Pluto opposite you, it is about big power struggles. And it really is about, are you owning your soul? Are you walking your soul's path? Okay, so again, initiation, new beginnings, Aquarius. Keep pushing that edge. Okay, so Aquarius, let's see what else you got here. Right. Okay. You get the Magician. Okay. So again, this is a magical time for you to use your mind, to be very creative, to dialogue, to ask questions, to write, to reflect, to initiate. Okay, you are the magician, Aquarius. You get the power of intention to create whatever you want. Okay, so again, you are a magician, Aquarius. Okay, use your magic wisely. Okay, so now we're at Pisces already. All right, so let's see what Pisces has here. So again, for Pisces, it's very interesting having Neptune in Aries and getting used to playing with fire, getting out of the water and into the fire. So you have the Wheel of Fortune here. So the Wheel of Fortune is Jupiter. And Pisces and Leo are in conjunct each other. So this is kind of an interesting setup here. The Wheel of Fortune means that it's about trusting, it's about having faith, it's about rolling with the punches. Yes, I would buy a lottery ticket, very literally, but about believing that the universe always has your back. The more you believe it, the more you feel it, the more you have faith in it, the more you act on it. Fire signs are action. It's moving just like fire. So I would say trust your fortune. I mean, this is a good thing. This is a positive energy. Jupiter is always positive. So maybe there's some lucky aspect that you can't see with Jupiter and Leo. It's in your blind spot. It's in the rear view mirror. So maybe get ready to think about this now and look at that blind spot. It could be poverty consciousness. It could be your own fear of success. So look at that and work with it so you can really use Jupiter as an expansive quality here. Okay, so let's give you an extra card here. Pisces, you get the Emperor. Okay, so notice that a number of cards have been repeated. Not all of them came up. So the Emperor, again, you get to be the boss, and that's very much Neptune and Aries. So boss it up with your creativity, with your spirituality. We're in a new era spiritually. We're the same old tricks and things can't stand anymore. This is about you really standing in your power. This is about boundaries. This is what Saturn in Aries is teaching all Pisces. Strong, healthy boundaries. You're not used to it. It's difficult. Don't fall back. Stay strong. Do martial arts. Be more aggressive. Eat red meat if you have to. You want to be full-blooded, full-bodied, ready to go into the battle of life here. It's time for you to come out for the next 14, 15 years, Pisces. Okay. All right. So I want to thank you all for being here. And if you want to get in touch with me for a private reading, in-depth astrology readings, tarot readings, you can get in touch with me at Tarot Tarot. And do join the Cosmic Intelligence Agency. They have wonderful workshops and great astrologers. So I want to wish you all the best for June and sending you many, many blessings of the day. Okay, bye bye, everybody.